So this is. Once he filed, then it's, at that point, nobody go, and then you know it. See it. He's still up there.
Texting right now.
Nobody's got it.
Oh, not allowing. Look like you should be playing. Jordan had.
Is Kenny gonna work with him on it?
I know.
I don't know.
That's got. Yeah, yeah. So the examples here, if you want to do. Everything say so, that is. It was. Right, that makes sense. That's why I can read the rest of the grants.
I'm sure it helped. And then I'd have to drive.
Yeah, yeah.
There, but yeah.
And I.
So it's doing it tonight.
Well, that's what I was. They were saying. Somebody would have. So that's our money.
So it's interesting, because my case with this, like, 4 or 5 days ago, then it's supposed to look at large money.
Well, there you go, there you go. And we even got some pictures. Yeah. I don't know.
So like, you know.
I know.
How you doing?
Oh, thank you. Not really my paper, it's our paper. Read it. Good one. Good one. Good to see you.
Screw that.
I'd like to call the Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 Island City Council meeting to order. Janice, can you please call roll?
Councilmember Atlan,
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Mayor Maida,
Here.
and Mayor Rowe.
Here.
We have
Uh,
Councilmember Lefane out tonight.
Okay, can you all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic which stands one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get approval of the agenda, please?
Move to approve the agenda.
We have a second.
Second.
We have first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We have a presentation announcement tonight by Debbie Mackey regarding the status of grants.
Good evening, council. Thank you, Jesse, for being here so that she could do my slideshow. I'm going to make this pretty quick. Feel free to ask any questions as we go through the presentation. So City Manager Lee asked me if I would give you a quick update, mainly dealing with the softball parks, but that's part of proposition or part of Prop 4. And we'll get into that after I review all the other grants that were in your budget. So the first, so if we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so the first is a CDBG home program. So this is, these are both federal, the state is, and then it goes to the state of California. So I'm still working with the state on both of these. I'm waiting project approval for both CDBG and home. Because these are federal programs, there is concern that these will be heavily revised, and some of them, especially the home program, we're not sure if that is going to be funded federally anymore. The next one is our safe, next slide, thank you. Safe Walk to School. We did make an application for that. This was for a project and demonstration grant, and what this will, we're really looking at Marlette and getting sidewalks in and getting that redone. But this does do the whole city as an overview. We should hear if we get funded for that one by year end. And next slide. Wastewater treatment plant. This is a very big grant. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago. We're meeting monthly on this. Originally, it was a $15 million grant, and then went to a $30 million to include replacing the clay pipes. Then I went back to 15 mil because it was that was all the funding that we could get grant wise. But now with Prop 4, it looks like we're going to be able to get more funding. So we're going to look at that again so that we can get as much of the wastewater treatment plant done as possible with grant funding. We are eligible on many areas for this. And we have a great team through DWR and RCAC who are working on it. But this is, we're looking at 7, 8, maybe even up to 10 years for this, for everything to be done with our wastewater treatment plant. The good part is once we do start the application and then they start awarding some of this, is we have like a 10-year where we will not get any type of fines and things like that. So we have like a 10-year grace period because we are working on it. Okay, next slide. Okay, the amphitheater and sports fields. So the amphitheater, if you've been out there, it looks wonderful, making a lot of headway on it. Same with the sports fields. I know that City Manager Lee is working on that and should be done by year end for this, this grant. Okay, next slide. The Assistance to Firefighters and Fire Prevention and Safety Grant. Both of these are federal grants. The Assistance to Firefighter Grant, we went for some radio equipment that we have not heard on with the government shutdown. We won't hear on it until after that, hopefully by year end. The Fire Prevention and Safety Grant, we did receive the award, and we received it and then the government shut down, so we did not get to accept the award, but Chief Mackey will be coming before you once we get all the information on that. Okay, next slide. Okay, ARPA, we have talked to you about ARPA during the budget. Andrew and I are working on that, getting all that ready for you. We should have that by the first meeting in December, and we'll be done with that. We've already received the funds for this grant. Okay, next slide. Okay, the bridge project, 5 Mile Drive, we have a little over $100,000 that is being held by the county for the bridge project. We had the bridge tested to see what its condition is, and they were surprised at how good a condition that bridge is in. So they should be formalizing the report to us and hopefully get that back by year's end. Okay, next slide. In Depot Park is ongoing, excuse me. But grant-wise, all money has been expended and we are seeking reimbursements. The first, I believe, right around $120,000 for receipts has been put in, and the remainder of that will be done once we get all the forms and stuff filled out. And because there was quite a bit of a lag when I came in, and a lot of these grants I had to learn about. Some of these were before, some of these I did apply for, but to get everything up to speed and to get all the reports done. And that's why it's a little bit of a delay on getting the funding for this in. Okay, next slide. FEMA, CSFA. So both of these were for storm damage, and we'll get those when FEMA's ready. Right now, of course, we're not going to be getting, with the shutdown, we're not going to hear back from them. I don't remember, I can't read that far of how much money there is, but that is outstanding. It's not too much. I want to say it's like under $60,000 for both of the FEMA grants. The CSFA grant was for turnouts for our volunteers, and that's around $30,000, and we turned in all the receipts for that, so we should be hearing back from them probably about early next year. Okay, next slide. Okay, Proposition 4. So Proposition 4 was voted on and by the state of California, and this is a $10 billion proposition. This is going to last for many years, and they have allocated right around a little over $3 billion for the fiscal year 25-26. Okay, if you can go on to the next slide. Okay. The opportunities that we have for the City of Ione for this one is leveraging California's 2024 climate bond for the parks and recreation improvement, wastewater tertiary plant, wildland fire resilience, and climate resilience projects. Okay, next slide. The priorities. So our priorities is our wastewater treatment plant, the wildfire fuel reduction and community resilience, roadways, pavement management program through ACTC. So these are the City of Ione priorities, either part of the infrastructure, the public safety that we are really focusing on. Okay, next slide. Okay, how Prop 4 aligns with Ione's projects for parks and recs. So the local park development and improvement grants. I do need to say this about this. I've looked at these grants for the past year and looked at how the City of Ione sits as far as receiving any state grants for our parks. And because we have a very high density of parks in the City of Ione, they look for, if you have to walk or drive more than a mile to a park, that's how they are allocating funds. And also it has to do with your median income. The median income for the City of Ione, and depends upon who you look at, grants are a little bit different on how, at what information that they look at together, what the median income is. But we're anywhere from 78 to 82, and sometimes up to $92,000 as far as the median income for the City of Ione. So we're way above the average. So we don't qualify for the low income portion when a lot of these grants are for low income disadvantaged communities, and for not having parks within a mile radius of where somebody would have to walk. You can go on the parks website for the state of California, and they have maps where you can go and you can do the mile radius. I was looking for up on Oak Ridge Circle, thinking that we might be able to do some park improvements to there, but their income was right around $98,000 because their mile includes Castle Oaks community. So But it does not mean that, as far as Prop 4, that we would not be able to get a parks grant because there's many other criteria that go into it. And if we are looking at that softball field grant, that not having a girls softball field in Amador County that the girls can use, then we might be able to make some leverage on that. Okay, our wastewater tertiary, the water board and DWR resilience grant. So that's who we're meeting with on a monthly basis, working on that. So Prop 4 will be able to come in and assist us with hopefully getting more of this infrastructure taken care of. Wildfire prevention, CAL FIRE holds the majority of it. The way this grant does work is that, so it's the state of California, and then all these agencies underneath it then come in, and then they get allocated funds, and then they distribute them. So I'll be looking for when CAL FIRE does start making announcements for these grants of how we can leverage it for the city of Ione. Economic development, so that's for recreation and looking at different types of small business growth. I have to look more at the Prop 4 grants, and I'll get into that here once we go to that website. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the next 90 days, so develop a Prop 4 project portfolio. And then we'll look at all the grants that not all of them, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go through each one of them to see which ones we will be able to use, but focusing on our priorities for our city will dictate how I look at those grants. I'll confirm our disadvantaged community status and get more information on that. A lot of these are not out yet. They're looking for early next year for the notice of funding opportunities, which give you the guidelines of what to apply for. And so I'll be looking at what they're considering disadvantaged community and see if the softball, we can get money for the softball fields. What our income status is, and again, each one of these grants will have probably their own criteria and their own income status, and then eligible groups. So not only the city of Ione, if we have any 501c3s, if it's or Little League, soccer, if they're eligible, I'll make sure that those notifications are made. Okay, next slide. Funding, match, and sustainability. So this is very important to the grant. And so for our potential local manage out of the general fund and in-kind services, a lot of them are in-kind services, just as the train park. And then I did talk with Janice, and one thing that she did tell me, which was great information, is when they did the skate park, is that they used the land value for the matching on part of that. So, so there's a lot of ways we can do it. We just have to work together and read through all the fine print. Long-term operations and management. So we have to make sure that this is something that is sustainable, and then what is it? And make sure that we have fiscal responsibility and we can fulfill the grant obligations. Okay, next slide. Okay, our resources and next step. This slide just for you if you want to find out where I got all this information from. And if you can try to go to the website real quick. And I just this is where you can go. This is the climate bond, and just go down just a little bit. And that shows you the division of how all the money will be allocated, and then go down a little bit from there. Okay, and those are all of the areas for that funding. And so when you click on any one of those, it'll go to another. You can just click on whichever one, and it'll show you. So those are the departments that are going to be getting the grant funding there over on your far right. So so what I did, like when I was going through all of it, just to see how much work is going to be involved in researching all of this. There is one, like this is for coastal resilience. So this is not something that that will be affected by, at least not to my knowledge. But there is one that was for heat resilience. And so I just clicked on it to see what it was. And there was a department that I wasn't aware of. So I just went to see what they were all about. And if we do, we have the potential of applying for a grant through them for heat resilience, for play structures for the shading for it. So, but I wouldn't have known it had I not clicked on it, and then they had a webinar today that I did attend, and it will cover that. So we'll have to, once they get their notice of funding opportunity out, I'll be looking at that and see if we can apply for something like that. So there's a lot to this grant, and it's going to go over many, many years. I'll continue to work on it, but if you are interested in looking and hear anything about the Prop 4 and want to know if we can qualify for anything, unfortunately, it does not cover economic development at this point, but there are other things that we can use to bring economic development into our city. Okay, any questions?
Thank you, Debbie. Any questions from council?
No questions, but I just got a outstanding, Debbie. See you working here hard every day, and you're a breath of fresh air. You're doing so many positive things. I greatly appreciate you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, for years, I think the city's hired grant companies and spent tons of money and they did nothing, and you have killed it. So appreciate it. Do we need to take public comment on this? Public comment on this presentation?
I just like appreciate Mrs. Mackey, but I would hope this grant, you're talking about the sewer, would look at West Marlette when you get this grant in the clarifier. We need a clarifier on our sewer system. To fill in the ponds, and it's gonna cost them $150,000 a pond to clean them out. And I'll guarantee you pond 1 is already almost full. So I just like you to think about that. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
I don't have a comment, but can I ask a question?
Depends on.
I'm
your
just
question.
wondering what the bridge thing is. You said on the bridge, I don't understand what that's, the 100,000.
Yeah, I'll clear it. Okay. I didn't bring the folder, so there's a bunch of dates about it, but it has to do with the bridge that was washed out and was moved down to 5 Mile Drive. So there was money that was given or granted to us from FEMA to be able to restore the bridge or do something with that bridge. So we're looking at what possibilities it has because there is the $100,000 up that the county holds for that of what we can do with that. So that is being looked at right now by engineers on, it's not going to be a drivable bridge. So it will not be put back into that type of a thing. It'll be a walk bridge or something out of the park. So we're not sure. We're looking at different options for that.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you.
And George can chime in if he wants to. No.
Any other public comment? All right, we'll close public comment on that. All right, we'll open public comment on items not on the agenda.
Okay,
There you go.
now's the time,
There
huh?
you go.
Hello there. My name is Steve Christensen, and I'm here speaking on behalf of Jaron Brandon, who is a candidate for California State Senate District 4. It's the position currently held by Marie Alvarado Gill. Currently, Jaron is a member of the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors. He was elected to the Board of Supervisors and then reelected. So he's been serving as a member of the Board of Supervisors in Tuolumne County for some time now. What I am here for today on his behalf is to ask you or to tell you that he wants to meet face to face with members of city councils and the Board of Supervisors here in Amador County to discuss mutual issues and interest of what is important to you so that he could take those to Sacramento when he's elected, which is what I'm hoping he will be. Some of the issues that he's interested in, and hopefully he shares them with you, is roads. As supervisor, he's well aware of having to fix potholes. He has built affordable housing. He's been working to get affordable housing in Tuolumne County and has been successful. He is interested in protecting rural hospitals to make sure they do not get closed. And he's very interested in fire protection. He understands the dangers that the foothills are in with possible fires, so that we don't have a campfire that destroyed Paradise happen here in Amador County. As someone whose family lived in Paradise, my in-laws' house survived. My sister-in-law's house was destroyed. I was in Chico the weekend of the fires. That fire came all the way down to Chico. So a fire in Amador County, like the campfire, could come to Ione. So he's very interested in that. He had, as a supervisor, he's dealt with Governor Newsom and the California bureaucracy. And so he feels that if he was elected, he would be able to deal with the bureaucracy in Sacramento. So he's running to represent everyone. And he wants to be, again, I want to say, he wants to be able to meet face to face. He doesn't want to do a Zoom call with you guys. He wants to meet face to face so you can talk to him. To find out more about him, you can look at Jaron, which is JARON, at votejaron.com. And you can find more about his positions on different issues. But he wants to listen to what you have to say, and be able to get your input to find out what's important to you. He's not going to come down here and tell you, oh, if I'm elected, this is what I'm going to do. He's saying, if I'm elected, I want to do what you want. And so I hope you will reach out to Jaron Brandon and be able to meet face to face with him and talk to him about the issues that are important to Ione and Amador County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment not on the agenda?
Good evening, City Council and community members. So I just wanted to keep the conversation going about school consolidation. So as we discussed at the last City Council meeting, ACUSD started the consolidation movements again in 2022, and they've made very little progress toward this plan. And I know you guys have probably gone through their extensive history on their website, even going back to the 80s when they initially started consolidation talks. So my concern is that while the school district's solution to severely aged facilities and even increasing deficits is consolidation, the children are in those facilities that are not being kept up the way they should be while they're waiting. Since consolidation has already taken a significant amount of time and money with nothing to show for it, I believe the school district could use collaboration from county and city governments to either see the consolidation plan through in a timely manner or work together to make the much needed repairs if consolidation is not the best option. I would like to use one of these paths to be taken as soon as possible, since as the months and years go by with discussions and no actions, our children, my children, in Ione Elementary especially, are in these facilities and they deserve so much better. And so do the teachers and staff that go there every day. I would appreciate seeing more county and city representatives at school board meetings, and I appreciate Vice Mayor Maida and City Manager Lee for coming to the school board meeting on the 28th. As our schools and children are very important parts of our communities. I know we had discussed that we're thinking of changing the zoning so that the school district is unable to sell it to anyone that would do anything with it beside make it into an educational purpose. But I truly ask for the county, cities, and school district to work together for the best outcome for our children, rather than putting up roadblocks that would hurt our children's futures. When there has been no alternative presented to counter consolidation, it makes it seem as though our local government agencies are only working on this issue to block it, but have not come up with a solution for the hazardous school facilities and staff and the teacher shortages that face most, if not all, of our Amador County schools. I would appreciate the Board of Supervisors, county representatives, our city governments, and the school board all working together to put our children first and to find a solution together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Cody Gold. I also wanted to speak on the school topic, and thank you, Councilman Maida, for speaking up. And thank you guys for choosing to send the school district a letter. Just some clarification though, to follow up Patricia's comments, the current consolidation plan doesn't include the closure of any facilities or fixing them up for that matter. They actually voted at the last meeting to give the loan money that they had taken out to make site improvements. They voted to give it back. So currently the consolidation plan would keep students at Ione Elementary School, but they're just going to take the population that's there now and split it in half and send the 4th through 6th graders over to the current junior high campus and keep TK through 3rd grade at the elementary school. So what started in 2022 based on we're going to consolidate because these facilities are terrible, we can't fix them, has now morphed into, well, they're going to get such a better education when we can, offer more programs. But the bottom dollar of the savings that they presented was they're going to cut 26 staff positions. So really it's less teachers, probably bigger class sizes. And the end result is our Ione 7th and 8th graders will be going up the hill to go to school. So the next vote or next meeting, hopefully you guys can come again, is next Wednesday, the 12th. And the board is going to be asked to vote to stop their original consolidation model of the 9 through 12 grade campus at Argonaut and a junior high at Amador. They're going to vote to undo that resolution, and then the district staff is going to ask them if they want them to proceed with traffic studies for this new model, which is 7th through 9th at Argonaut and 10 through 12 at Amador. So anyway, thanks again. I appreciate the city writing that letter, and I think we can all agree we'd like our kids to go to school close to home for as long as we can keep them. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank you so much, Cody.
Good evening again, Marcia Edick. I just want to say that I've been coming to these meetings for, I think, 8 months or so. And, I pay attention when I'm up here or whether I'm sitting in the audience. And I've noticed, I have some observations that oftentimes we're not, the people at the podium aren't being given the attention that, common courtesy dictates. Whether someone happens to be on the cell phone or texting or whatever, or looking anywhere but at the speaker. I mean, we're not kind of really left with the impression that, we're being heard. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't know if I speak for anybody else, but when I come up here, sometimes it's a little intimidating. And whether you all agree with what a speaker has to say or not, it would be nice to know that at least you're listening, making eye contact. You don't have to agree with us, but at least give us the common courtesy that, we can feel you're hearing what we have to say. And maybe put down the cell phones and put down the pieces of paper or whatever it is that you're focused on, absent whoever is at the podium. And I'm not just referring to me, because sitting back there in the seat, when others are up here, I'm watching all of you. And I don't know if other people feel the same way. So please, if you could give all the speakers your attention, whether you agree with us or not, it would mean a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
getting to the school thing. I have no kids in school. But I would like to say something about the 10th through 12th grade going to Sutter Creek. They could expand Argonaut High. This county owns 640 acres right next to it. The Gabarini property, give that almost a city for county for nothing. And they could expand that school right there. It is easier than heck, but they want to develop it. And it was give to them at a price so they could build this county of buildings all in one place and instead of paying what, $23,000 or $21,000 a month for that thing on Lower Ridge Road. I'd just like people to know that land is sitting there right next to it, 640 acres. Thank you.
You.
Any other public comment? Tommy Quinn. You burned up a minute getting to the podium, Tommy.
We are. Attica, don't forget it. No. You have to be old to understand that. Listen, Tommy Quinn, and not this past weekend, the weekend before that, when we had the kids parade, that was great. At the same time, that marriage thing or whatever it is behind the store, they were having some kind of thing, people talking Ukrainian fairly loudly. But the real one was the building where the police are going to move to. Don't stare at me. I just at least look at your cell phones. It creeps me out when you look at me that way. But anyhow, they had a party there that started at 2:30, went to 10:30. That was just bonkers. I mean, it was crazy. There, at one point, it got so low, somebody's just banging at a drum while people screamed. They didn't scream, they just screamed like there's a fire. This town is too darn noisy. And I talked to the policeman that night, and he said, well, you know, the regulations in the city saying they can do any darn thing till 9:30 or something like that.
10:30.
10:30?
10 or 10:30, yeah.
That's crazy. That was a Sunday night. So all
Go
these
party.
huh?
Go party with them.
Oh, yeah, danger, danger, danger. I'll get you received. No, it's crazy between that and then almost nonstop gunfire over at the fire facility because they let anybody shoot there. Any, you know, Jackson Police do, the sheriff does, and a few others. There's got to be some kind of concern about noise. You know, really, you should shut down those kind of parties at 8 o'clock. You know, just because I'm 80, you know, but I would wish you would consider that because, you know, people got to go to work on Monday and somebody is, you know, plus. I went down to see what's going on. People are so drunk they could hardly stand up and they're getting in their cars and driving away. Now, I would think a place like that, there's a couple hundred people there, would have to get an officer and pay an officer overtime to watch over that kind of stuff. Because they go drunk and kill somebody, you know, the city's going to be liable for that because that's a permitted thing. They got a permit to do it. And so I would hope you would consider that. Okay? Right, Larry? See, anything else?
Thank you, Tommy. Any other public comment? We got anyone on Zoom? We can tell. Okay, we're going to close public comment. Okay, can I get a motion for the consent calendar?
Move to approve the consent calendar.
I'd second.
We got first and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nope.
Ayes have it. One no. We have no public hearing.
The public comment on the consent?
Oh, okay. Any public comment on the consent calendar? Big none? Oh. You're not public.
I know, but I would like to ask for a clarification on that. If you notice the warrants show any unpaid things, I just need to know if Echo Urban will be continued to be on hold. It's on the warrants. The two outstanding ones that you previously voted not to, they just stay on the list until,
Can I make a motion, we pay them?
well, if your approval left with no changes, then it'll go
They're paid.
through.
We've already done it, basically. I'd pay him.
You'll notice I just needed to clarify that
Okay,
comment.
yes, okay.
Appreciate it, Andrea.
Thank you for remembering that. Okay, moving on to new regular agenda.
I'm part of the public.
Oh,
So I was looking through, since we're talking about warrants, I just wanted you guys to maybe see what I see. It looks like on building permits, we're collecting less than what we're getting charged to close them out. So I don't know, Andrew may know better than I do, but when I looked at the last 2 months, they were charging us like triple what we're actually collecting for permits to close those out. So I don't know if we have a city employee that does that, or if it's this Weber Geo. It was just something I went over really quick. But I think sometimes when we get to the warrants, we're checking them off really quick. But if we need to adjust the permit price to make it offset, but it looks like it's coming in about triple what we're collecting as what we're getting billed for the company that's doing that work. So just as a heads up.
any other public comment? Close public comment. Okay, moving on to regular agenda. Item 1, discussion adoption of resolution establishing a new policy for use of city attorney and council member communications with city attorney. Requested by me, Mayor Rhodes.
I'm glad to explain just the mechanics and rules of this resolution and turn it to
Yeah,
Mayor.
I got a point of order on it, or clarification or whatever. So our muni code says that to put something on the agenda, you need 2. Like if you look at the one underneath, there's 2. On that one, there's 1. Why is that?
Your agenda policy it's in the protocol manual that any council member can request an agenda item. If 2 council members do it, then it's prioritized for the next available meeting. That's the agenda policy in the protocol manual.
Okay, so you only need 1.
Yeah, yes, but if
Okay.
if 2 do it, then it's prioritized for the next meeting.
Right. Okay, and then where's the report? Where's the
Oh.
template?
Well,
It's on agenda item K1 and your.
I would present, he's here to explain his reasoning and I'll,
wait.
okay. So yes, agenda item requested by Mayor Rhodes. City attorney is appointed by the entire council. We're on a contract basis. All time is charged. The general rule is we're directed and engaged by the city manager. City manager's responsible for carrying out the direction and priorities of the council. A majority of the council also directs us, and it could be an open session or closed session. That could be ordinances, resolutions, litigation, legal research, all the things that you have a city attorney for. In the protocol manual, generally we're directed and engaged by George, and council members are advised to consider the best use of our time. What this resolution would do is further clarify and restrict how council members would contact the city attorney. Again, it would be directed by the mayor and the city manager, and only in 2 instances would council members be allowed to contact the city attorney directly. One would be to discuss or advise on personal conflicts of interest. The other would be if there's suspicions of criminal conduct of other council members, then you would be able to contact us directly as well. The reasoning for this is, I believe I put it in the resolution or staff report, is just conserve city resources and generally control how all the council members use our time and communications, but I'll let Mayor Rhodes explain his reasoning as well.
Yeah, so I know it's a concern for everyone. Our attorney bills are absolutely outrageous. And I know there's a lot of people taking a guess of what it is, possible lawsuits, whatnot. So the city council, as you know, you guys can look at the warrants anytime. We get to actually look at the invoices and see what actually everything costs. So what I did is I just took the correspondences. I didn't go by sensors or the golf course or anything. I just took correspondences, which means I've reached out to the attorney to ask a question and he's responded back, or an email to him and responded back. So that's all I look for in the bills. So I did my own audit. Any council member is glad to do this. They can do the same thing. They're allowed to do this. So what I found was me being the mayor, I'm the worst, obviously, because I am forced to talk to him, which is okay, but it's part of my job. So I went all the way from January 1st to last month, and I had 25 either calls or correspondences, emails back and forth with the city attorney of a total of 15.7 hours. Our vice mayor had a total of one communication for 0.2 hours. Councilmember Mitchell had absolutely zero. Councilmember Atlan had 37 communications at 30 hours. And Councilmember LaFane had 143 communications at 85 hours. Now you can times that by $250 an hour or $350 an hour and come up with your numbers. So, and there's some other ones in here that I'm not going to repeat who they are, but that is what brought this about. And I think we should run everything as normal. That's how we've always done it. You usually just run it through the city manager. If you want to talk to the city attorney about something, you ask George a question, or if you ask me, or if it is an emergency of some sort, like you think someone's doing something illegal, then you reach out. But we got to put a handle on this, because right now our bill should be about $90,000. That's what it should be. And then, there's probably $100,000 for the golf course. That was a big one. But right now we're pushing almost $500,000. So that is why I would like to pass this resolution. So with that said, any other council members have any input or questions or?
Yeah, I have a lot, but I'll wait till the end.
You can go ahead.
Hang on, I just want to calculate something. On my calculator here. Okay, hang on. Let me just, bear with me. What did you say, 143 times 250 equals?
It's 21,000, I
Okay.
think, or somewhere around it.
$35,000, okay. So keep that in mind, $35,000, but we're at $500,000. So you think about the percentage there. First of all, I'm going to say that this is absolutely, well, before I say this is absolutely the worst resolution document I've ever seen, I'm going to say something else. The real reason that our attorney bills are so high is because of Stacy Rhodes. He, in this instance here, the city, so this is how something gets on the agenda for Mr. Verinsky to be given direction. So what Mr. Rhodes should have done, he should have said, hey, I'm really concerned about all the money being spent on the attorneys and like to discuss it and put it on the agenda. So it goes on the agenda. And then he says what he just said. I'm concerned, these are out of line. This is what I recommend we should do. And then Mr. Verinsky then draws up the resolution and the documents and everything else. But what's gone on here is that Stacy has directed the attorney to draw up all these documents outside of the city council. Only the city council are allowed to do that. And so then this is one of many, many, many. He doesn't need to send emails to the attorney because he just directs him in person. Let's read what the city attorney's duties are, okay? The city attorney, this is the protocol manual, which they want to throw out. The city attorney is the legal advisor for the council, its committees, commissions, and boards, the city manager, and all city officers, employees, with respect to any legal question involving an official duty or a legal matter. They are to provide legal assistance necessary for formulating and implementing legislative policy. So if I want to come up with an idea like, well, I want to do this from now on, or I want to build a road here, or whatever it is that the council wants to do, we ask advice of the city attorney. The only thing that we can ask of the city attorney, the same as the rest of the staff, is all I can ask for is legal advice. That's it. I can say, hey, if we do this, is that allowed or is it not allowed? That's it. Okay. So for me, I got 37. Let's think about this for a second. I got 37 emails. Now, I don't know if they're separate emails or it's a chain or if it's completely different subjects or whatever. 37 in 11 months, well, 10 months, let's call it 10 months, 3.7 emails a month. I mean, if I'm not talking to the city attorney, I mean, I remember earlier in the year, I was at 8 a month, but now I'm down to 3.7. So well done, Dominic. 3.7 times a month. I'm asking the attorney a question. That's not excessive at all. You know, 0, that's not good. You know, 1 is not good. Of all the things going on, there needs to be more advice being sought from the city attorney. And I would say that everything I've ever corresponded with the city attorney is as a result of Stacey Rhodes. Okay, starting the meet, I remember early in the year, it was, he started these meetings before the Muni Code says you could start them. Okay, and I'm calling or emailing and saying, hey, that's not allowed, you can't do that. So that is typically what I ask about Mr. Rinsky. Then the censure policy. He was directed to do the censure policy. That wasn't done by the council. That was done by Stacey Rhodes. You know, we can go on and on and on through this list. The city attorney is governed by the Muni Code. This is circumventing the Muni Code. The mayor's duties are in the Muni Code, and this isn't one of them. What he's trying to do here is the only person that can talk to the city attorney is going to be Stacey Rhodes, and he's the one driving up all the costs. What else have I got? Their contract, their duties, what they're supposed to do. First of all, if the city attorney, and I'll say this, if the city attorney did what he's supposed to do in his contract, we wouldn't have these bills. And this is what he's supposed to do. Item 5.9 of this contract, it says authorization to perform services. That means, you know, when he has to do something. The firm is not authorized to perform any services or incur any costs whatsoever under the terms of this agreement until receipt of authorization from the city. So did the city ask him to draw up this new policy? No. Was there a council meeting about it? No. Again, Stacey Rhodes circumvented the Muni Code, circumvented policy, circumvented the protocol manual. It says the scope of work here is, you know, represent and provide legal advice on a consultant basis, blah, blah, blah. Contacts are usually made by email or telephone. That's normal. I don't want to speak for another council member, or the one that did 143, but that person, she's basically every single meeting is about Councilmember LaFane, right? She's being sued. She's being censured. Who's the attorney? Mr. Vrinsky. So there's naturally going to be a lot of correspondence between that person. I mean, if that was you, you know, you're going to be having a lot of correspondence. There's a lot of concerns that, and this is going to go into the next item. There's a lot of concerns that some people have. Most of the emails, and included on mine, are, you know, the city's not following the bidding policy, right? The city's not following its PO policy. These are usually the things that we've been conversing with the city attorney, and these are normal things. If the city followed the policies, there would be less use of the city attorney. But the primary one is what Mr. Vrinsky should have said when Stacey asked him to do this is, okay, when the council tells me to do it, then I'll do it. But until then, I can't do it. I mean, that's a simple thing. And that goes the same for the city manager. Now, the city manager, he, it says that you go through the city manager, which is what typically we do at a council meeting. So we make a decision, goes through the city manager, goes through Mr. Vrinsky. So even though it says the city manager can converse with the city attorney, that's at the direction of the city council. So even the city manager doesn't get to call him aside, and I know he doesn't, and have him do these tasks. So that's why it's set up this way. But I mean, one of the provisions in here is that, well, we could talk to him if it's a criminal matter, but not a civil matter. I mean, it's like, how are we supposed to know what that is without talking to the city attorney? I mean, this is absolutely ludicrous. We're supposed to be legal experts, so I'm asking a question and it's, aha, that's a civil case code and not a criminal case code, and you can't talk to the city attorney. I think, we'll make this short, how it is good. How it was is good. You know, everybody needs to be able to talk to the city attorney. What we need to do is to bring that way down. And there are ways you can do it. You know, perhaps you could be asked to do whatever. What do you think is a reasonable amount? You know, 6 a month? I don't know. But I mean, what is bad about this is the person driving up all of these costs is Stacy Rhodes. And yet, he gets to be the decider. So do you think if I got a complaint against Stacy Rhodes, which I always have complaints against him because he doesn't follow policy, so you think it's going to go anywhere? Of course not. So, you know, it needs to be left alone. If we adopt this policy, then the city attorney can't even do what he's supposed to do in his contract. So that contract's out. So let's get rid of that. And while we're at it, we might as well bid out the city attorney while we're bidding out the whole contract to start over. So this is a bad idea. This is a power grab. All of the problems are a result of Stacy Rhodes, every single one of them. And then he's now blaming other council members for driving up the attorney bills. That's ridiculous.
Would you like to respond to anything, Josh, before I respond?
No, that was a comment and there's no response needed.
We have other people comment. Real quick. So I did.
Here we go.
I did a
Here
quick
we go.
calculation.
There we go.
I spent $3,750 with the attorney. I changed nothing in the penal code. I changed nothing with house censor. That was all
I didn't say
Hey.
penal code. I said muni code.
Muni code, all of it. I changed none of that. That was a recommendation by our legal counsel to get all of our stuff up to date. That's what that was. I had nothing to do with that. I even said we shouldn't do that, and they said that we should because our Muni code protocol is all old. So what I can do, and I think we should do, or we can't do it at this meeting, but next meeting, I think we should release all of our emails, everyone on council to the attorney and back and forth. We can do that and make all of them public. I think that would show exactly what's going on, and then you can all read our emails. I'd be happy to do that. So, but that's it.
Jackie, have anything to say?
Still-
I have something to say. I'm going to try not to eat the microphone. First of all, I'm quite proud of my 1 hour, I'll say, okay?
Should have been used.
I'm doing my job and I'm doing my job well. That's what I hear anyway. I know there's some people that don't like that. When I need to talk with Josh, I wait. I don't need to talk to him immediately. And if I do need to talk to him, which obviously I don't very often, I go through the proper channels. I go through our city manager. And when you go, that is not true. That is not accurate at all. You're saying this, so do you. Allison LaFane has been censured and not supposed to contact our attorney unless she goes through the city manager and you also are involved. Is that correct?
She sees me.
Well, she sees you. Well, that's contacting you. How can you make a difference?
That's the.
It's my turn. You had your turn. Okay, so she still contacts the attorney on her own.
She does.
Anytime she does, Josh, does she contact you?
It's CC'd.
Has she contacted you without, has she contacted you without going through the city manager?
Councilmember Atlan is copied on emails. There was one call.
Okay. Okay. In these questions, can I ask you questions about content of emails? Because we're talking about correspondence, right? There's difference between correspondence and other things.
Not
Make you uncomfortable?
Not so much because we can only.
Okay.
We can't really delve into the substance.
It's my belief, and that not only questions are asked or correspondence are asked, but we've seen in other emails that have been disclosed about the threats and attacks that are made in these, not only by Councilwoman LaFane, but also Councilman Atlan. They get upset because they are in the minority now and they can't stand it.
I love it.
You love it. You really, that sounds like you really love it, don't it? She causes, and you're talking about how terrible things are and why she's have to contact the attorney all the time and because of how the attacks and everything on. She causes her problems, in my mind. We had a really nice meeting 2 weeks ago. I wonder why that was. So this is not really a change overall, because if you look at the staff report, it says the attached resolution would clarify and establish that engaging directing the city attorney shall be done through the mayor, city manager, and city employees only. That means our city clerk, Janice Traverso, can contact you. Is that correct? Yes. That sounds pretty limited to me. Doesn't sound limited to me at all. So that is absolutely ridiculous. These fees are outrageous, what we're paying right now, and we've caused it as a board, no question, because we've had a golf course. We did the censure. We did had water issues. We've had sewer plant issues. We've had countless issues. We bought property, and it costs money. Is it too high? Yes. Are we spending too much money? Absolutely yes. But there's no justification, including members of this audience, that consistently complain about how much they're being spent, but then defend the person who spends the most out of all of us. It's utterly ridiculous. So that's my opinion, and I personally think this should be looked at very closely. I know we're going to get plenty of comment here, and I'm looking forward to it. So whatever. Yeah.
I don't think it matters what policy you guys come up with, you won't follow it. I can tell you, I'm sure I do have costs associated with the attorney. He is correct. I don't know that I have ever called the attorney directly. I've gone through George on a number of legal items, and I've asked George to contact the attorney on my behalf and followed the procedure that way. So saying I don't have any dollars associated with the attorney would be incorrect. I'm sure there is a dollar number. I don't know what number that is. What I don't have any money spent on is going after each other. And if you think that attorney there isn't spending time trying to dig up trash on each other from members of this board, well, then you are sadly, sadly mistaken. And you guys are a busy, busy, busy group. Let's break the Brown Act on social media. Let's violate closed session. Let's run up a tab with an attorney. It's sick. Sickening, and you disgust me.
Any other comments from council?
Yeah. If the problem is the amount of, I don't think I'm a problem, 37 in 10 months, I'm not a problem. If 145 is excessive, there has to be a better way than to strip in all the council from here and all time of their rights to talk to the attorney. Okay, there has to be a better way of doing it than this. Okay, and again, question wasn't answered. Why has Mr. Verinsky even done this without council direction? And that is the problem. Okay, that's a problem, and that's what, if I reach out to the attorney, that's what I'm complaining about. I'm not complaining about anything else. And then if someone says, "Oh, go dig up dirt on someone," Mr. Verinsky will say, first of all, he's not going to do it. Second of all, he should say, well, if the council directs me to do that, then that's what I'll do. Same with the city manager. It's like, no, you want to get the 145 emails down? I think there's better ways to do it than a blanket, ban of content to the attorney. I'll tell you right now that I'm not going to follow this policy. Okay, I'm not going to do what's best for Stacey Rhodes. I'm going to do what's best for the city of Ione. So I'm not going to follow this policy anyway. So it'll go, if I have to do another 4 emails a month for the next 2 months, then I'm going to do it. But you're not going to follow this policy. It flies in the face of the Muni Code, the contracts, and everything, and it's a joke.
I'm not done either. Okay, how many times have you had an FPPC file on you, Jack?
3 last week. Maybe 13 or 15.
Yeah, okay, let's add that to the, let's add, I'm not gonna ask you anything. This is my turn. I could ask you how many of those you filed. Would you want to answer that? 2. Okay. People in this audience that some members of this audience are causing our legal fees too, because I know people in this audience that are making these FPPCs complaints left and right. I had one done on me. I don't know who it was. It's ridiculous. That
For a point of clarification, I use no city funds to answer my answers to the FPPC and the.
Yeah, that's right. The FPC doesn't charge the city. So it goes to them, a complaint.
I answered the complaints and didn't
I'm just
use any
saying,
attorney funds.
Same here. I got complaints against me, more than you.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
I'll leave it at that. We'll let public comment when Jeff Stacy ever wants to do it.
And just for clarification, I did not write this resolution. I talked to the attorney about our problem, and their law firm came up with this. I don't know if it's a template from other cities or how it's going. I did not write this. However, I do think it's a good idea because we need to get a handle on this, and it ain't blocking Jack from talking to him or what. It has to go through me and the city manager, and whoever's mayor next year, it'll go through them. We need to take control of it. We're going to go bankrupt. We're buying him Ferraris. I mean, and it's not his fault. He's doing his job. So, any other comments from council before I open up to public, or would you like to say anything before we open up to the public? No? Okay. We'll open up to public comment.
So I started watching the city council meetings a few months ago. I've lived in Ione since 2018. But I've had young children, so they've taken up most of my time. My daughter just turned 5, so she, is kind of on her way. So now I have time to come and, listen in. So I have no sides. I don't take any sides. I listen to what all of you have to say. And I've gone to school board meetings. I used to work for ATCA, so I went to their board meetings. I went to Sutter Creek's city council meeting last night. And just the way that I would say every single one of you conduct yourself, not singling anyone out, because at times everyone here has, is just appalling.
Agree.
And I understand that emotions get the best of us at times. And there have been things that I've said at meetings that, isn't the most professional, but I'm not elected. I'm not paid by the city. I'm not, a representative of the city. So if I were to sound off, it would be a little bit more understandable. And it just hurts whatever message you're trying to get across. Allison has made valid points. Dominic has made valid points. Stacy Rhodes has made valid points. And Mr. Beta and Mr. Mitchell are usually the two that are the most reserved, and I appreciate them for that. But your valid points get so masked when you start getting angry with one another and you tell each other to shut up or whatever it is. And I want us to all work together for everything. Because yes, we are in a fiscal crisis with our city, and it does not help to add on attorney fees. But if the city council is going to the city attorney legitimately for legitimate reasons, I don't think that should be limited. Any person has the right to, report anything that is, not supposed to be going on. But I think people do need to take personal responsibility to say, am I going through the proper channels? Am I going through the city manager, or, am I a council member? Is this really something that Mr. Verinsky needs to weigh in on? Or can I maybe talk about it? I don't know all of the legalities. I know you can't have meetings, with a certain number of you. But just talking with staff or however it would go to resolve these issues. So when it comes to public meetings, we're not a spectacle, because I don't want to live in a town that has become a spectacle. I watch enough, trashy reality TV. I don't want to live it. That's why I watch it on TV. And so when it's becoming my life and this is the town I'm living in and paying taxes in and raising my children, and it's like, it's not funny anymore. And it becomes serious. So I just want you all to consider that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A local resident that I'm lucky to call my friend and neighbor recently said these words to me, and I'm paraphrasing. How could I have known there is such a nest of intrigue in what appeared to be a sleepy little town? I found that statement to be really profound, and I couldn't agree with them more. And this particular item on the agenda is evidence of that. You all want to talk about, try to justify why this is necessary. Okay, whatever. The fact is, it's untimely. The cart has been put before the horse, because I'll tell you what the protocol is, because I researched it. One of you wants something done. You advise the city manager, and it gets placed on the agenda for discussion, not a vote. This matter is up for discussion and a vote. Wrong. That's not the way it works. The items placed on the agenda for discussion, and the council members, whoever's present that night, whether it's all 5 or 4 or whatever, you discuss it and then you decide. Okay, if there's a majority vote, direction is given to the city attorney, and only at that point does the city attorney actually draw up a resolution. Okay, but the resolution's already been done. Okay, it's already been invoiced, or at least the work has been done. Okay, so basically the horse is out of the barn, right? I'm appalled that, number one, when Mr. Rhodes, Mayor Rhodes, I apologize, Mayor Rhodes wanted to put this on the agenda, that someone didn't check him. That's what you guys are for, our city manager and our city attorney. I'm sorry, Mr. Rhodes, we can't do it that way. This is the policy. This is the procedure that we must follow. And that's the procedure that should have been followed. And Mr. Verinsky, you should have declined to prepare that resolution and told our mayor that's not the procedure. We can't do it this way. So my question is, if another council member had come to city manager or city attorney, whether it was Mr. Mitchell or Mr. Atlin or Mr. Maida, and they said, okay, we'd like, a new contract or a new resolution or this placed on the agenda for a vote, or for discussion and a vote, what would you have told them? Would we be doing this right now if it had not been at the mayor's request? I already know the answer to that question. It's kind of rhetorical. So the question is, why did the two of you choose to violate your duties and responsibilities to the city and permit this to happen? Because I want to point out that basically this amended resolution will eliminate certain council members' ability to contact the city attorney. The city attorney, I'm sorry. The city attorney answers to the city council. The city council is a unit. It's not made up of one person. Unless, of course, you all want to just disband this unit. And I mean, it's kind of running amok as it is, right? Maybe all we need is a mayor, a city manager, and a city attorney, and just let everybody else go. Because if that's how you're going to vote tonight,
Yeah, 15 seconds.
this should not be voted on tonight. Okay? But again, the horse is out of the barn. The work has been done. The city's going to pay for it regardless of what happens tonight. It was wrong. It's untimely. And I don't like it.
And just for clarification, I did ask.
Okay, I'm not being funny now. This is part of this and not part of this. A month ago, I was up at the Safeway at the Starbucks, and here comes Mr. Atlin, and behind him was a very petite Japanese woman. I lived in Japan long enough to know she was a Japanese woman. So I didn't see her, but I saw Dominic, and I thought, geez, here's a good time I could talk to Dominic outside of the city hall meetings where we kind of razz each other. We had a great talk in the parking lot. I met his mother-in-law, and we spoke in Japanese at length about things. She was a delightful woman, He's not a bad guy.
Thank you.
He's not a bad guy. He's his own guy, your own guy, your own guy, your own guy. So I would ask that you guys figure a way to get along and find something positive in each other. I'm talking from being a teacher for 27 years. a junior high teacher. And so, you know, enough of this stuff. You're all good guys. Nothing wrong with any of you. You have different ideas. And whoever voted for 500 houses development out there, now he should be shot. But, but I would ask you guys, please get along, okay? It's as simple as that. You know, find some good in each other.
Thank you, Don.
I think Jody, Jack, and Stacy are doing a very good job. All I know is, Stacy, everybody in Ione loves you because when you run for office, you got more votes than anybody else has. But the thing is about what you guys are doing tonight, I can't go back that far because I don't remember that far. It's been so many meetings. You guys have decided that you want everybody, a lot of people in the audience wanted to know why the attorney's bill was so high. Well, tonight you're finding out and everybody's going crazy. Dominic is screaming at you, Stacy. I don't think that's very nice. He's picking at you. Well, he was picking at you. It's all Stacy's fault. It's not your fault because I come to the meetings. You never said this. If everybody wanted to know in the audience how much money we spend on the attorney. So we're finding out, and then Dominic goes off on you. When you're at the city council member, and as long as he's been on there, he should have never went off on you tonight like that. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, you can do it. You do it all the time. You after Stacy. I don't know why you don't like Stacy. Stacy hasn't did nothing wrong for the city. Jack, you guys, Jesus criminy. It's a wonder he never did something to somebody for always sending him and doing this, he's doing that. And Jody's just learning. He's doing a good job. But you guys are, you and the lady on the other end, just go after him. You guys file this, you file that. You know, you can say what you want about me after I leave. I don't care because you get on Facebook, you used to, and half of the time your information was 100% wrong. And you know that. And so, Stacy and you guys, we love you. This is, the public wanted this. I don't understand why anybody's even fighting about it. And Dominic sat up there when everybody wanted to know this. So it's a waste of money for her, as far as I'm concerned, to spend that much money on an attorney. Because some of the stuff that she wants to know, you can come down to the city hall and find it out on your own and save us money. So you three guys, you got to just keep fighting and take all the bullshit the other two give you and keep your heads up and do the right thing for the city. Thank you.
I do have a Zoom.
Okay, well, got one more.
So, Dave Johnson, I guess to me, the premise of this probably started out to me in the wrong place. We're talking about 3 a month, 4 a month, whatever it is. You guys have had 14 closed session meetings this year. So if you wanted to go back and look at all the money that's been spent, you drew up a censure. Josh had, that was all billable hours. He writes up George's contract, that's billable hours. All this stuff is getting done and it's billable, whether you're sending emails or texts or not. 14 separate meetings on top of the two meetings a month that are special meetings are adding a lot of dollars to it. So like Dominic said, if he's sending 3 or 4 a month, that's not a lot of money, but I'm sure Josh bills for every one of these special meetings, every little project you guys put them on. If you look at the Allison Central alone, that was supposed to be between $7,500 and $15,000. We'll hear from Andrea probably tonight. I guarantee it's over $40,000. So you're $25,000 over on that. You've already spent $6,100 to sue Allison on this latest thing. So there's money that's being spent that has nothing to do with emails, phone calls, or anything. It's I think some of these special meetings, and you guys know better than I do, could have been handled in regular meetings rather than 24 hours notice. Let's do a Chinese fire drill, get everybody down here. Sometimes you only have 3 members, sometimes it's 4. You don't get the whole group in here, so you don't hear everybody's opinion back and forth when you guys start talking about this stuff. So it seems to me emails is the very small part of this bill. Andrea got up and said, for the first 8 months of the year, you guys, instead of 10,000 a month, were averaging 40. And then lo and behold, in September, you get a bill for $90,000 in 1 month. I don't think that has anything to do with emails. And if I'm Allison, I'm getting sued by the city, I'm probably calling the guy that's suing me. He's filed the documents. He's got $6,100 in billable hours to you guys to sue her. So I'm gonna call and say, hey, what's going on? What do I need to do? If this thing's going to court, of course, she's gonna have higher than Jack or Jody. You guys aren't getting sued. So that's just my 2 cents. I just think you're chasing emails instead of the real problem is all these special meetings and all the stuff that's gone on this year. Jody touched on it a little bit that this has been a hell of a year with all the changes you guys had. You're buying buildings, moving the police department, just doing a lot of things that require a lot of time. And that golf course alone, whatever that contract costs to get it out of Han's hands and over to the new people, that's billable hours. I think emails are the least of your worries as far as attorney's fees go. Thank you.
And for a record, a lot of us would love to do everything in open session, but the law won't allow us.
Mitzi, Windley, I disagree with Dave as far as the emails are part of the bill. Also, all the private meetings, I don't even know what you're in closed session, but I do know people that you guys have a huge lawsuit that's going to hit you guys because I know her because of accusing her of stealing and of fraud. So I'm guessing that's what part of your private meetings are about. That's $10 million and you're screaming over $40,000 for her to be censored. This is, like I said, nothing that I've heard from you. It's because I know the people that are involved. So they're crying, you guys are crying over spilled milk. There is so much bigger stuff happening with this city that everybody's ignoring. The other thing is, how many city managers, how many attorneys, how many financial members, how many people has this city been through? Something's wrong. You guys are running them off. I mean, you know, I think our attorney does a great job. Is his bill high? Yes, it's high. Could it be cut back? Yeah, emails will help. It's not the solution, but it will definitely help. And when Stacey Rhodes said Jack had zero, Jack, he meant that you had zero directly to the attorney. Not that you went through George, you did the right procedure. You went through George. Jody goes through George. Stacey, you probably go through George too, but he's the mayor. So nobody follows, you guys don't follow it. You're crying over pennies when there are dollars out there because of past mistakes, okay? Because of huge past mistakes of the formal council. And yeah, everybody should get along. I thought everything was great. Everything looked like it was turning around. And Dominic, you did attack Stacey. I like you, Dominic, you know that, and you attacked it. And I'm sick of it. And I said, our attorney does a great job. Our city manager does a great job. How much we have got done in the last year compared to the last 6 years, you can't even compare. So of course the attorney fees are going to be more, you know? So that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Missy.
Thank you. I just want to clarify that my attack on Stacey was over this. Okay, he got the policy. If I spoke too loud, I'm sorry. I wasn't shouting, but I'm not the guy that tells people to shut up. Anyway, I was attacking Stacey because this is his resolution. Okay, so that's the only reason. If it was Jack, it would be Jack. I'm just saying, that's why.
Welcome, Cody.
Thank you. Forgive me, but I'm gonna try and play mediator here for a second. Look at this thing from kind of a removed perspective. I think the general consensus is we have a problem. Our attorney bill is extremely high, right? I think we can all agree with that. Mayor Rhodes, I think your heart's in the right place of how do we fix this? Okay, let's look at this. Well, somebody has an extreme amount of emails going, and a lot of these are billable hours because of these responses. But I also think we can agree that we're a general law city, right? We're not a charter city, and we're not a strong mayor city. So devil's advocate, But let's say that the person that's sending 147 emails is in the mayor's seat. This resolution does not fix that. And so this is a long-term solution to a short-term problem. If this is specifically directed at one person that's sending too many emails, then I think the fix is to remove the word mayor from the resolution and direct all correspondence through the city manager. And you can seek counsel during your closed sessions on the litigation or whatever that closed session item is, and you can seek counsel here in the public in front of everybody. You can ask the city attorney at any time, hey, I have a question for the city attorney. What does this look like? And if it requires more follow-up, then he can direct that through the city manager. That would be my recommendation is if the issue is that and I can agree with that argument, is that we're creating a strong mayor city in a sense that if the mayor can just reach out at any time and he's the only one that can talk to the mayor, well, or to the attorney, what if you're not the mayor and the other person is the mayor? You would have a problem with this resolution. So that's my take on it, is follow the procedure, follow the policy, have it directed to the questions to the city manager. He can then seek counsel of the attorney if it's warranted. And the other thing is with the turnover, sure, maybe it's pennies compared to the grand scheme of the bill from the attorney, but if I'm the city attorney and I have to answer 15 emails a day from one person, I'm probably going to look for another job somewhere where I'm not getting hounded 24 hours a day from somebody. So I think that if we remove the word mayor from the resolution, everybody could get on board, pass it. That'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you, Cody. And I think that's a great recommendation, and I would vote that we do that when we do this resolution. You can pull mayor off of it. Any other public comment? We have a Zoom? Okay, go ahead on Zoom.
Good evening. This is Diane Ratton. Pulling the mayor off it is fine because the mayor changes and you never know what you're going to get. My concern is that you are a citizens council, and as citizens council, you are not experts. Your attorney is there to guide and help you. And if you are muzzling your ability to ask questions of the attorney, then the council is hamstrung. I have a feeling the meetings would go on a lot longer if the council is not able to ask questions outside of the open meeting to understand what the agenda items are and what the position of the city is. What I also find interesting is that you have city staff is able to go directly to the attorney. There's no qualification of what city staff means. As far as I understand, the treasurer and the city clerk are not staff, they are elected. So are they also limited by this resolution? And to Mr. Verinsky, are you actually recommending this policy change as the city attorney after reading the ordinances that it flies in the face of? Is this something you're actually recommending?
This is public comment.
Okay, well, hopefully one of you on the after public comment is closed will ask him that question. And the other question I have for the city attorney is, do you have other cities that do not allow the council members, the governing body that are making these decisions? You disallow them the ability to speak to the only person who can address the legal issues for them and address their concerns. Do you do that? So hopefully one of you on the council after public comment will ask those two questions of the city attorney on behalf of the citizens. And if there's no ability for the council members to go to the city attorney for questions, but there is the ability of city staff, with no qualifications of what city staff are. So that tells me that the person that is hired at Public Works to mow the parks has more availability to the city attorney than does our elected council members who represent the taxpayers. And they're being muzzled, but others are not. So I think this is I applaud Cody's recommendation of taking the mayor out of the mix. But I absolutely do not think limiting council members' ability to speak to the person who can answer their questions as a citizens council is a smart move. Thank you.
Any other public comment on Zoom? Nope. All right, we'll close public comment. I'll start. I'll say I think that's a good move by Cody and pull the mayor off of it. And the other thing I would like to be able to do, and maybe do it next meeting, is to release all of the emails from all council to the attorney and back so you can all see what's really going on.
I have a comment or question for Josh. I agree with Stacy. I agree with Cody. It's a very good idea, Cody. That's really the best way to go. It equalizes the playing field and it establishes a real solid protocol for all of us to follow. Thank you for that. I would state also that the city employees maybe should go through the city manager. My concern is protecting their rights. If maybe the city manager, or whoever the city manager is at the time, is actually the one harassing this city employee, I am thinking that they still need to have that right to be able to contact you on their own to make sure that their rights are protected and that they're heard in case there's a hostile work environment or whatever may be, or an in-house problem with other staff or whatever. But
That's a good call.
I think
'cause
that's important to keep that in, because I want to make sure that we ensure the safety and security and of our staff. They're the heartbeat of our city. So that's just a comment I have.
That's good because
I have a comment as well when you get done, Stacy.
no, I was just agreeing with them that has happened before. And I don't know if your law firm has its own separate HR attorney that they do.
Yes.
Okay. So they don't call you, they would call someone else. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have an HR department, and if the staff are having a problem, they need to contact HR. So I would handle this as I suggested a couple of months ago. We have a monthly budget. Okay, if we are exceeding or whatever it is, $10,000 a month, then I said back in my suggestion, then city manager and the mayor has to approve that so that we keep an eye on it. So this gets headed off at the budget level, because that's really what we're looking at is the money. I will ask the question that was asked on Zoom, is this your recommendation? And are other cities that you represent doing this? And I can tell you from the phone calls I made to other cities, and they were laughing that this was going on. So I don't know if you represent any of the ones I call, but none of the other cities did this or would do that. I think we could come up with a better way to lower the emails, which I don't think is a problem. 35,000 versus 500,000, that's not a problem. But if you want to lower the emails, I'll come up with some suggestions on that. I think we should leave it alone. It's been 75 years, it's been the policy, and now all of a sudden, because, somebody wants to now release everyone's emails. Here we go again. Okay, release all the emails. We got to redact them. There's confidential stuff in there. That's more money for Mr. Verinsky. And like I said, not trying to be mean and not trying to attack anyone, but a lot of these problems are caused by the mayor. Okay, trying to be the strong mayor, like Mr. Gold said. And if that would stop and he would just be part of the 5, there would be significantly less expense for the attorney. So my questions, please, do you recommend that we adopt this, or what about your other cities?
It was a council member item really for the council's consideration. Frankly, this is not the most comfortable agenda item for me. But it doesn't have my recommendation. It's for the council to consider, and it would be more restrictive than other city attorney contact policies and other agencies that we work with. But there are policies out there that really try to steer it through the city manager and limit council member communications if it gets out of hand. But those would be my answers to your questions. And I would say overall, since the censure, those communications have gone down significantly.
And I would just, before I give Jack a chance, I would like to add that if we release all the emails for the public, it will cost some money, but you will realize once you read them, the content of the emails is what's costing us tens and tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm still for, we have nothing to hide, release all the emails. Councilmember Mitchell, what you got?
You can change policy, you can't change behavior.
That's good.
That's it.
I like that.
Well, any other questions? If someone want to make a motion, an idea, a thought? Correction?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we come up with a better way to reduce the emails going directly to the city attorney. We don't have to make a decision on what that is tonight, but this resolution isn't the way.
I got an idea. Let's email the attorney and find out. Just kidding.
Well, you have a lot coming to you, Jack.
I got a.
You got a line of credit.
Anything, Vice Mayor?
I believe in passing this adopting this resolution. But we need to change the resolution that establish and engaging that directing the city attorney shall be done to the mayor and city employees only. I'm not the mayor, I'm sorry, the city manager, only the city manager. And in no way does it keep us, in my mind, well, I made a motion, so that's my motion. I won't go on it.
A motion on the floor. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
So then it falls, right?
I also made a motion.
I'll second
Come
Dominic.
up with a better way, remember,
I'll second Dominic's motion to come up with a better way to
reduce
reduce the
amount of
number of
emails sent
emails.
to the city attorney.
Okay, we have a
Yeah.
first and a second on that. All in favor, say aye.
I'll say aye on that one.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to,
Hang on, Mr. Mayor, would you like to have a couple of council members work on a way to implement that motion? You know, sit down and brainstorm, come up with some ideas. Would you?
yes,
Okay. Name two.
because again, this wasn't my total idea. I was trying to find a way to stop all this. So I reached out to the attorney and said, come up with something. So they came up with something and we went with it. And I'd like Cody's, I don't want to be a power mayor. Everyone thinks I'm like King Trump. I am not. I love my city and I will do everything to defend the city and I love the citizens of Ione, so. Okay, let me find my place here. Hold on. Okay, item number 2, I don't know if we want to table this, but here's a topic, council member discussion regarding wastewater communications in detail and public records request documents obtained by council member LaFane. She's not here, so I don't know if. someone wants to take it on, or- I don't know what.
I'd
it's about.
second that if you want to table it.
I think we should table. I make a motion, we table this.
We've had enough arguing for one night.
Okay, we have a motion to table this. Do we have, take a vote on it?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Aye.
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 Okay.
Oh.
All right, item 3, discussion action to award irrigation project for the soccer field at Howard Park to lowest responsible bidder and authorization to execute a construction contract for the project.
Mr. Mayor, council members,
As part of the turf replacement project program, part of that program involved the replacement of the irrigation of the soccer fields at Howard Park. The allocated amount was $95,000. After obtaining bids, we were only able to obtain 2 bids, I believe primarily because of the time frame involved. And the lowest bid was $233 plus or minus. I do believe I can get that down. So again, the soccer league has stepped up and they have offered to provide an additional $45,000 to contribute to the project. And my recommendation is to either match that or this project dies primarily. So again, the cost came in substantially more than I expected. But this is a good design system designed by RRM. This system will probably last 25, 30 years. This has a sub pump. I think a lot of the irrigation systems at Howard Park has to do with pressure. So the secondary pump will help a lot of the pressure issues. So again, we're in a tough situation because again, we have that $95,000 allocated for the irrigation, and you know, I think this would address a lot of issues. So my recommendation is to match whatever the soccer fields, soccer organization can donate, and that'll get us close to the amount. And hopefully I can find some ways in the contract to bring it down some more.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is one of those things we have to use it or lose it kind of thing by a certain date.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is possible. We'd never used to have any good sort of credit line in the city, but now I think we do. Is there any way, because we can probably raise the money, but not in that quick of time. Is there any way we could take out a loan and have some fundraising or something, or?
Problem is, it's very time sensitive. We have to get this project done before the end of December. That's the biggest issue. So the soccer season has just ended, so time is of the essence. It's now.
And what's the number you need to come up with?
233 is the total amount of the low bid. And so we have an allocated 95,000 from the grant. And the soccer organization has agreed or committed to donate 45,000 towards that cost.
Any questions, comments from council?
Do you have an estimate of how much we save on water when we put this new system in?
Quite a bit. We don't have the entire estimates yet, but part of the grant was to replace leaky pipes.
Right.
Okay, so
Just curious if we had a number on that.
they figure a lot of the water that was being wasted was due to the leaky pipes. And we have had some serious problems out there with leaks and so forth. So, and the soccer fields are take up the majority of the space. So again, this would address this irrigation issue. It would address a turf issue once and for all. And I think this will be a good fix for the next 25 to 30 years. And unfortunately, as things sometimes happen, we're under time constraint. And again, this has to be completed before the end of December. And the low contract bid company, they assured us that they can get done.
We're so close to this being completed that it would be a shame for us to even consider stopping now. We can come up with the money somehow.
Recreation, the remaining monies that the city would match would come from the recreation fund, impact fees.
Could Andrea come up and maybe speak on this? So you've got some ideas, thoughts? Pull the trigger, don't pull the trigger?
My first thought, it needs to have a budget amendment. So we'll bring it at the next meeting like we did for the fire truck. The second one would be, it would come from the park impact fees, which has right at $1 million in the impact fees as of the 6/30/25 sitting in that account. So that would be the only place you would, and it'd be spent on capital.
Is there any way you can go up to Akron and say, give us our money back?
It wouldn't be give us our money back. It would be would you participate? We'd have to come up with a project. This would be a great project to submit to them. So even if we spent the money, there is a way, if the people say yes and donate to it, it can go back to that park impact. We can replenish that account. I think that maybe that's what you were asking when you were talking about the loan. We have to spend the money and get the work done by 12/31. We have to spend that $95,000 from AWA. And you were talking about a loan. So let's say we pay, it's very similar to what we do now. If we paid for it up front and we still looked for funding mechanisms, there's a possibility if the county gave us money or we found someone to donate, it would go back to replenish that, what we spent.
Because I think when we built that tennis court out at Howard Park, which I wasn't a fan of, we paid like 280 grand for that. And I think we were short 60,000, I think the number was, and the county reached out to us and they gave us the rest of it. So we'll go through. So I don't know if that's something we can tell them we're in a pinch. Who do we go to? Epperson? Maybe you can talk to Acra? I don't know.
So we can raise additional funds after.
After.
It doesn't stop us from raising funds. What I'm saying is that the soccer organization will donate 45,000. What I'm asking you, the city council to do
Are
tonight,
you telling me as city manager that you're interested in raising funds?
after the fact, okay? So again, if the city would agree to match the 45,000, whatever shortfall there is, we can raise the
Money.
additional monies after the fact.
So your eyes tell me you think it's doable.
Well, you have the funds in the park impact fees.
Yeah,
Now,
fine.
also remember, until the first of the year, it'll affect the balances that receives the interest.
Yeah, okay.
So that'll go down.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, sorry if my voice is too loud in advance. I think we only have to spend 95,000 by the end of the year, right? That's that's the money with the strings on it, the 95, which we could easily do even if it's not completed. I mean, we can pay for the parts. So we got 95 that we have to spend by the end of the year. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Vrinsky or Mr. Lee. Then we're going to get 45, maybe we'll get 60 from soccer, and we're just being asked tonight for 60. Isn't that correct, George?
45 to 60, yes.
Yeah, from us though.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's because we got 95, 45, and 60 is 200, right? We're still
No,
sure.
there's things I can eliminate in the
Okay.
contract. Okay.
But you're asking for 60, is that
Asking for
right?
60.
Okay.
And I do believe the soccer organization can up that amount.
Right.
But again, it's going to take another board meeting.
So I think the deadline is the 95. I think if we're getting 45, we're basically getting 150,000 here, and we're just being asked for 60. I think that's a good deal. We do have the money in the parks impact fees, so we have the money. My concerns are always, are we spending too much in one area, and not by beating up softball, but we seem to be spending a lot of money in one area and not so much in the others. But I think that's going to get addressed. I'm confident it will. So for this, I think, to spend 60 and essentially get 150 is a good deal, is a good thing. Those soccer fields, 20, 25 years have been awful. So I would like to see it better. The other thing is there are two bids here. And what I would like to see is a local get the bid. There's a 10% contingency is what is in the whatever ordinance or code, that someone could bid 10% higher than the low bid and still get the job, even though they're higher. That's our policy to support locals. So I'd like to see a local person get the bid. The person that bid on this, Chad Simmons Landscaping, he put in the initial order at the soccer fields and baseball fields for pretty much free. So I think that even though his bid's a little higher, we don't always have to take the lowest bid either. I think that for payback for work done in the past, everyone keeps saying about the volunteers, and he's definitely one of them. I like to see this project move forward, but I would like to see it done by a local, and that person would have to meet the 10%. So I understand his bid was higher than,
He revised his bid.
so he would,
Resubmitted his bid tonight at 260.
okay, so yeah, under those circumstances, I would support this project and award it to the local landscaper.
You know, with the motion.
We got to do
more
discussion and public comment. We got anything? All right, we'll open up to public comment. Any public comment on this?
$95,000 and it turns out it's not enough. It's more than, what, 2.5 times that. Sure would be nice if once in a while we were told it's gonna be 95,000 and you find out it's only gonna be 75. How come it never works out like that? The only thing, I agree, walking away from $95,000 grant for, coming this far would be a shame, but it is amount of money that it sounds like, and Andrea's the expert, where it's going to be another one of those inter-fund borrowing situations. It is not. Okay, I see your head. Okay, so I am misunderstanding and I'll just shut it off right now. So I guess the only comment that I have is I sure wish once in a while we would get this estimate of it's going to be a certain amount of money and it turns out to be less than that. I'll take a seat.
So Andrea can probably correct me, but the city manager's math doesn't math for me. He's saying 95, soccer's gonna kick in 45, that's 140,000. So you'd still have to come up with 95,000 additional to get to the 235. So you're basically doubling the 95. I'm all for it. It's just, when we're talking about math, we should really talk about the real numbers. It's 95 plus 45 gets you to 140. Another 95 gets you to 235. Now you're saying 260. So it's really going to be what, 115,000 additional to the 95. So when the math doesn't math, I feel like I need to come up and say something, because when he's saying half, it's not half. They're giving 45. If you were giving another half, that's like 2,250, not $95,000.
Yeah, I think he did mention that there's some items you could take out of the bid that would lower it.
It's too bad that he couldn't explain how much water they're gonna save, because our water bills are gonna go sky high, I guess. I don't know if you guys read the paperwork. And out there, they call that raw water. And the raw water is really gonna go up, and it all depends on the size of your pipe. So if we don't do something about the sprinkler system out there, you're not gonna be able to afford to water that place anymore. Because you're gonna put in your new water system, and if it saves, your water bill is gonna be probably about the same that you pay now. Because I don't know if anybody read the paperwork that they sent you in the mail. It's a little scary, huh?
A little.
Very scary.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, so I'm just telling you, if you don't do something with the waste of water out there, you're not gonna be able to water it this summer at all. I mean, because you're not gonna be able to afford it. So, and what is the lowest bid?
233.
Now, where are they from?
Sacramento, Fresno.
Yeah,
Can you use a microphone, please, George, so they can hear you on Zoom.
Fresno, Sacramento. Fresno, Sacramento. They have a couple offices.
Yeah, because you gotta go with the lowest bidder. I don't care what anybody says. Because you're gonna save yourself about 30,000. And money in the bank is better than in the air, so. All I can say is you guys better do something about irrigation, otherwise you might as well gonna have dry fields out there. Cause it's gonna get awful expensive. You're gonna see on Ione, you're gonna see a lot of green grass go dead. It already has, but there's gonna be a lot more.
You've obviously been by my house.
Can't afford it, it'll cost you-
Any other public comment? You got anyone on Zoom? Oh, Mr. Gold.
Why not? I've been up here enough
Come on
already
down.
tonight. No, I think, yeah, while it's unfortunate that it's not 95,000, it's significantly more. I think we got to look at it that it'd be more unfortunate to walk away from $140,000 on the table. Even if that is an additional 100,000 from the city. The parks impact fees are for capital improvements for this exact thing. While we don't have the numbers, I can imagine if you look at Google Earth, the Howard Park soccer fields look like crop circles, like the aliens landed there. The system it's pretty bad. Both of my kids play soccer. My daughter's field that she played on, huge patches of dirt. Like as the ball's rolling, it shouldn't be kicking up a dust cloud, and they're pretty much playing on dirt. So I think that I remember when the contract was being negotiated, it was something roughly $100,000 annually we're spending on raw water at Howard Park. So let's say if that's what it's going to cost us, even if it saves us 10%, it's 90% as efficient as our current. Put that over 10 years, it's paid for itself, right? And it's a 20 or 25-year system. So bigger picture, I know soccer has been hoping for this type of cooperation from us. We got some grant money. The city's going to put up a little bit. They're going to put up a little bit. I think it'd be a great project to see us go through with and get the kids some nice grass to play on instead of dirt. So, and my wife might not have to wash the kids' cleats and socks so often. Thank you.
Hey, Cody. Any other public comment? Got someone on Zoom? Go ahead on Zoom.
Yes, this project would be a perfect opportunity to go to ACRA, or I guess it would be the Board of Supervisors now, to get the park impact fees that Iona's paid in that are sitting there waiting for a project. So perhaps this council can direct the city manager at the same time to solicit those funds out of ACRA and or the Board of Supervisors at the same time. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Nope. All right, close public comment. And yeah, Cody brought up another point that brought up another point with me. There's a huge safety problem out there. I go out there quite often and watch those kids, and they're literally running on dirt, and then all of a sudden they fall in a 1-foot mud puddle. And at some point, some little kid's going to twist their ankle or something's going to happen. So there's a safety element to it also.
Before the council makes a motion, just to inform you, under bidding requirements, we really are directed to prioritize the lowest bidder. And we can do a further review of the local preference, but the council will be aware of that risk of not going with
Simmons came in at a different number and he's within 10% of the lowest one. He automatically gets it anyhow. Is that correct?
That is not my review. I have not reviewed the local business preference ordinance in depth, so I can get back to you on it, but that's not my first reading of the ordinance.
Okay.
If you take a 260 and then you give them the 10%, within a 10% margin, correct? That would bring.
I have not found the 10% margin rule.
No, what he did was he reduced the 280 bid by 10%, which brought it by.
Oh, I thought Donald said there was a local something.
I believe.
You're correct.
Yeah, wow, we're agreeing, great. Yeah, there was always a 10% contingency for locals. So if because obviously they can't compete with, big companies outside of Amador County or Ione. And so it was allowed that if someone was 10% higher than the lowest bid, that we could take that. Now, I'm not an attorney, but that was my understanding and Stacy's as well.
That is correct.
I'm not happy with the extra money, but the point I was going to try to make is if we got 260 and they within the 10%, even though we're paying them 260, they would actually fall in that line because they'd be take it within the 10% and put them about 234,000. So that would qualify. My concern is the expenses. I want to hire Simmons Landscape also, local and everything. So I'm encouraging people out here to start doing some fundraising. So, but that's my take.
Mr. Mitchell.
I'm good.
Good. Okay. Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to award the contract to the local landscaper at 260 with the city putting up whatever the amount is, 115 from parks impact fees, which is fully funded. and at the same time, direct the city manager to go to ACRA or this Board of Supervisors and solicit, say, 50 or 60,000 from them towards a project or whatever Mr. Lee can get.
Before I second that, can I add one thing to it, Dominic?
Absolutely.
I'd like a thank you letter from the city to the Motherlode Youth Soccer League for them putting up the money coming from you, George, or the mayor and George. And with that, I would second it.
We have first and a second, and all in favor, say aye.
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 Both, ayes have it. Okay, moving on to reports and communications from city attorney. Anything, sir? Nope. Mr. Lee, communications from city manager.
As someone said earlier, the Pick to Kill project continues to move forward at a diligent pace. It's going to be a magnificent project. I think when it's all said and done, I think the people of Ione will be very, very surprised as to how nice of a facility it's going to be. I continue to have conversations with hotel groups. That is moving forward with respect to a hotel and car wash and some other facilities at the Castle Oaks Commercial Center. We are working on a plan, hopefully that we will be able to reveal at the beginning of next year for ways to generate income for the city. And I think those are, it's going to be very, very concrete ways to do that. Other than that, that's it.
Okay. All right, council member comments, committee reports, and future agenda items. We'll start with you, Mr. Allen.
The only thing I want to bring up tonight is we're all been watching TV. We've all heard about SNAP, which is the food stamp program. We all know that as of last Saturday, it's not funded. We also know that should the federal government decide to fund it with emergency funds, it's only going to be half. So there's approximately 3,800 people in Amador County that are recipients of this program, and they're going to be going hungry. I'm pretty sure I tried to get a breakdown from DHS on how many of those are in Ione, but it's hard for them to do that. So what I would love to see the city do, and we can afford it because we just made $30,000 last month on our interest in the bank. I would like to see the city of Ione make a donation to the Interfaith Food Bank for $5,000. Now, that might sound like a lot of money, but the SNAP program, they get $200. So basically, all we're helping is 25 people, which obviously goes to the families. But, you know, out of all the families in Ione and Amador County, and we're just helping 25. I mean, I'd love to give 100 grand, but I would like the council to donate 5,000 to the Interfaith Food Bank, which will then dish it out to people in need. I don't think you can donate it straight to the DHS. So then it comes up with a policy, right? Because I'm the guy that always complaining about doing things out of policy. So here I'm asking, I think if we wait till the next council meeting, 2 weeks is way too long for these people to go hungry. So I would like George and Mr. Vrinsky to find a way to get the money out ASAP, and then we can talk, you know, we can rubber stamp it in the next meeting. See, I'm just doing everything I'm against. However, this is worth it. I'll take my chances at censor on that one. So I hope the rest of the council agree. And again, we're not helping very many people. It's a lot of money, yeah, 5,000, yeah, but we're not helping very many. And hopefully the government shutdown's over by next month so that everybody can get back on the program. So, I mean, it's Thanksgiving's coming up this month. Okay. And then Christmas. So if we do this now, we're going to be helping some people. And I'd like to see that happen.
That it?
Yep. Thanks.
Councilmember Mitchell, you got anything?
There is a program at Save Mart. No, it's not an Ione, but it's No One Leaves Hungry. They do have a deal where you can go in there right now if you are hungry, that you can get food, that you actually walk in and they will give you items, no questions asked, just so you know. They're also their food program there as far as for the holidays. It's 100% of it stays in Amador County. There's a lot of programs out there, but this is one that is legitimately 100% goes to the Interfaith Food Bank. Love the idea. I do think on some of the items that were brought up, some of us may need to do, I would suggest perhaps the council may need to do a Muni Code workshop for all of us. There's a lot of items that are coming up that are covered in our Muni Code. Seems like we're either forgetting them or we haven't reviewed that in a while. And with that, thanks for coming tonight.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, I agree with the Muni Code. I didn't think of that, but I know I could use, being the rookie here, I could use some knowledge, that's for sure. I have a question. Did Renee Hansen give notice for Parks and Rec? Do we know if she's gonna resign or not, or? Okay, I would like to see if we would write a letter of thank you for her term and her service. But she's when I was the Parks liaison, she did a remarkable job. So I'd like to recognize her. And I too believe we should help out. So I'm for that too.
Okay, real quick, I don't know if anyone's looked, but we've been working on the creek. They finished up for the season. It looks really good, especially go down West Martlet and look down in there. They did a lot of good work down there. And I think most of you know, I worked a couple of years ago with Cal Fire on working on the Triangle property, which is south of Flower, which is a huge fire fuel hazard. I got them to donate 20 dozer crews and battalions of firefighters to go out there and basically clear 300 acres. They put it all in slash piles, and I just got a call from the battalion chiefs or an email a little bit ago. Kenny's not here, but they will be burning out there on the 17th of this month, burning all that up. So let Kenny know. So be aware of that. And I would like on the next agenda to just continue with the discussion of the attorney resolution. So with that said, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Hang on, before we do that, Mr. Mayor, what about the $5,000 for the food bank? Do we need to vote on that, or we don't want to have another consensus debacle? What do we do?
Not on the agenda.
Have to call a special meeting to do it.
Take it back, or
You could do a special meeting poll and have us vote on a special meeting, couldn't you?
Can we be polled?
yeah,
You could poll us on the phone?
yeah. We can schedule meetings without violating the Brown Act.
The other thing, anyone out there, if we did a food drive over down here in Ione, you guys up for a food drive over at the?
And there's
Let's
a lot
do
of
food
businesses
drive.
that
Let's
would
start with a
donate.
food drive here, and let's see if we can get get your idea rolling in between. So I'd vote you figure out how to get back to us with a time so we can vote on the Mr. Atlin's idea, council members Atlin's idea. So
5,000 was your number, Dominic? Was
Yeah.
that something you just thought of, or is there like a purpose for that number?
It was like to help 25 families, so it's about $185 to $200 is what they would get in the SNAP benefits.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of businesses out there to be happy to.
I mean,
So.
if everybody, if we could maybe put that in the newsletter, 200 gets a family through a month of SNAP. Or we can buy food and have it here and give it out. I mean, there's various ways to do it. I think it's better to run it through the Interfaith, which is already set up to do that.
we'll get with Interfaith and we'll do a local food drive here. We'll get the word out to you guys so you can all see that. So check out social and a newspaper and radio and Interfaith Food Bank, but we'll get the word out to you guys. So we'll have a food drive going for you.
Right. So we're basically going to wait on Mr. Vrinsky we're either going to have a special meeting or you're going to figure out a way to get that done.
Or the city
Right.
manager might be able to
Okay,
use his purchasing authority.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Okay, so with the.
Better than cheap. Oh, yeah. Pause. You need a raise, I know. Okay.